There is backstage heat on an AEW Star pulled from All In. Plus, Chris Jericho comments on the AEW's Locker Room misconceptions. And we have an update on Edge's possible WWE departure and possible AEW debut. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Obviously, the big story of the day is Bray Wyatt. Wyndham Rotunda passed away yesterday at the age of 36 following a heart attack. Now, in our previous videos today, we have paid tribute and talked about plans for SmackDown tonight in the wake of Bray Wyatt's passing. You can check those out on our YouTube channel right now. Moving to other news stories of the day, we head to All In on Sunday. Brian Alvarez was on Wrestling Observer Radio today talking about heat possibly on AR Fox. We were meant to see him in the coffin match, weren't we?
We sure were, yeah. And then everything sort of on Dynamite happened. It felt things got sort of fast-tracked, him being ousted from the Mogul Embassy. Yeah, and now we are here right now with what you're about to tell us, Tom.
Now, this sudden unavailability for AEW All In may cause some issues because Brian Alvarez says, I don't know everything that happened, but he cannot make it to the show. And the impression I was given was that they were not happy with that because they found out at the very last minute. And so not only was he removed from the match, but he was removed from Swerve Strickland's group. It was a U-turn that was visible from space, wasn't it?
Yes,
basically?
It was. Yeah.
It was such a strange turn of events on Dynamite to retrofit what had been quite an aggressive blood feud that had been forced upon us.
And I mean, he was out there as well with his tank top on covered in Nick Wayne's blood as well. So, it did feel a bit of a fast turnaround, that's for sure.
Now, we're not quite sure again the reasons as to why, but it's been reported that AR Fox hasn't left the US since 2016. And despite the sudden passing of his grandmother, which some people might attest that being the reason for, he has been very actively promoting his planned match against Sting and Darby Allin for this Sunday. So not entirely sure of the reasoning behind it, but of course it's something that we will keep an eye on at Cultaholic.com. Chris Jericho, ahead of his match with Will Ospreay on Sunday, was talking to the press about the locker room misconceptions in AEW.
Yeah, so he spoke to the Daily Mail, as you said, about the misconceptions of the backstage area in the wake of the all-out brawl from last year. He said, we are a great locker room with great people and a lot of momentum for our company that's still very young, and things happen sometimes. We were really getting painted with an unfair brush by the media in a lot of ways, like it's a dumpster fire in the locker room, and that wasn't the case. You've got to continue forward, and Mox, Danielson and I just really wanted to grab the horse by the reins before it got out of control and just let people know that if you have concerns, let's discuss them. If you have issues, let's discuss them, but let's get through them together and come through stronger on the back end. I think we did a really good job of righting the ship and most importantly, letting people know that it's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. These things happen and we deal with them and we become stronger as a result, which we have.
I think one of the things going into this Sunday, a lot of the last week or so of conversation has been about the backstage of AEW Collision mainly, and some of the drama and some alleged toxicity that exists there. So I'm not surprised that we may see more people like that over the next few days in the UK press talking about, hey, what you might have heard isn't the case.
Yeah.
You know, this ain't the case. The locker room is lovely. One person who could potentially be joining the locker room of AEW is Adam Copeland. It was reported yesterday from PW Torch that Edge and WWE haven't yet met on a deal for a new contract, and AEW could be in the future of Adam Copeland. Now, Edge commented on these rumors yesterday afternoon. He was sat on his deck,
on his porch with his Golden Girls cup.
Lovely Golden Girls cup.
Nice.
I enjoyed that, and he had a coffee. And he said, with regards to rumors of his WWE departure and a possible AEW debut, he said, "There's nothing going on. There's no hard feelings between me and WWE. I love WWE. It's my dream gig. It's all I ever wanted to do. I didn't come at them with some crazy contract or anything, and they didn't deny me. I have a contract extension sitting in my inbox. I just don't know what to do. The first time I had to retire, it was forced, and at this time, the choice is in my lap, and it's a lot harder. A lot of people will say you should retire at WrestleMania, or this, or that, but it's not their career. Friday night was really special for me, and I don't know if that can be topped, to be perfectly honest. And if we think we can, then great, but I need to sit with it. Just know that whatever it is I do, whether it's Percy Jackson, which is the movie that he's in. It's not about to fight him or anything,
God.
which is coming out soon, or it's wrestling, or it's sitting in my rocking chair. It's because I'm having fun. And having fun at this stage of my life and raising my kids are the two most important things. Now, since those comments were made, Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez were on Wrestling Observer Radio talking a little bit more about it.
Yes, they said there is something to the stories. WWE are negotiating a deal and they have not agreed to terms. Edge got a great deal when he did the deal. Since then, for the top guys, the salary has gone way up because of AEW and because WWE's business is up. I know people in WWE who think he's going to AEW. Obviously, legally, he can't even talk to AEW until the end of September. As far as what he's going to do, it's in play, but I doubt he's made a decision because you've got to wait it out and see what's going to happen. I know people who think he's going to AEW. I do not dismiss it, but I'm also thinking he's been very, very loyal to WWE. There's a story of him going back and finishing his career with Christian. There's something to that too. He has an offer from WWE and I'm sure it's a great money offer. I'm sure he can get a great money offer from AEW. He's in play.
He's in play.
Oh, wait.
I think there's something to the idea of an AEW move. Now, bear in mind, you may go, well, Edge said there isn't. Just shut up. But what I would say is, like a week before Royal Rumble 2020, he denied vehemently. He denied a comeback.
He did, yeah.
So, of course, he's not going to go, oh, there might be something to it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
But yeah, I mean, we've spoken on the news before, haven't we, about there sort of being something with him and Christian finishing their careers together. There's something poetic, I think, about that. But then also at the same time, as Edge sort of said in his video on Twitter, he had an absolute banger in Toronto with Sheamus, a tremendous match. And I think a lot of wrestlers kind of want to go out on great terms and on their own terms as well. And if Edge was to just say, you know what, that was the best for me, I'm happy to just call it there, like, more power to the guy as well.
He bucks two really apparent trends when it comes to wrestlers stepping away from WWE, and it's the whole idea that, you know, you fall on your sword, i.e. you go out looking at the lights, you know, for the next generation, and a lot of the time it's balked at the idea of leaving WWE and becoming like a new version of yourself for just a short run.
Yeah.
And majority of the cases that I have seen in wrestling, that has been the case. But for some reason, for Edge, doesn't seem that a terrible thing. He bucks that trend. I think him leaving on top with Sheamus, I think is fantastic. And I actually quite like the idea of him and Christian Cage popping up in AEW and just saying goodbye on their terms. I think that's a really nice way of doing it, if that's how they do it. And I don't think that's a one-size-fits-all thing. I think some people would do those things and we go, oh, that's rubbish, that.
Yeah.
But I think for those two, I think it seems quite fitting.
I agree with you, Tom.
I like that a lot.
Too.
I like that a lot. It is All In weekend. We have live reactions to the show on the Cultaholic YouTube channel on Sunday night. You can check out 9 pictures with this creative genius in Andrew Hodkinson, as well as Jack and Ross. They're there as well too, I suppose.
They did some great pictures, by the way. They did some fantastic pictures.
They did some good pictures. You can get what happened at with Jack and the WTF moments from Ross for All In as well. It's going to be a big weekend. If you're heading down to All In Wembley Stadium, look out for Jack the Jobber. Look out for Jack Atkins from the Cultaholic Classic Raw review.
He's a lovely big teddy bear.
He's a
big teddy bear.
He's there in official capacity. Give him an egg if you see one. He loves eggs. He loves eggs. And enjoy the weekend. It's just a fun weekend for wrestling. Whichever company's putting up 80,000 punters at Wembley Stadium, I think it's a fantastic weekend for UK wrestling. And then, you know what? After I think the news that we've been handed today, I think community is exactly what we all need. Yeah. And what a time to do it at Wembley Stadium. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day. Well, Andrew and I at cultaholic.com. Case.
Love you, bye.